Okay, so we're here with Wilmer Valderrama, very accomplished actor who's been in many TV series and movies over the years, currently playing the role of Special Agent Nick Torres on NCIS. So your character has really kept viewers on the edge of their seats over the years. What can you tell us about what fans can expect as we approach the season finale on May 5th?
Thank you, Liam. Yeah, no, I appreciate that introduction. Thank you for the words. Yeah, I think we have the privilege of being one of those shows that people continue to welcome in their homes. So going into the season and understanding that we got this early pickup and we knew we were coming back for season 23, it kind of allowed us to say, hey, we have a little bit of a runway here. Let's figure out how do we dynamically close season 22 and how do we kick off season 23. So the idea was, okay, why don't we do a two-part season finale. And part one already aired last Monday. It's available on Paramount Plus to catch up. And then part two answers a lot of the big questions, like the conspiracy, everything that was happening this season. So like for McGee, LaRoche, that conspiracy of LaRoche, who is he to NCIS? That's going to get some answers. Parker keeps imagining this little girl, Lily, it keeps appearing in different places. And so we're going to find out what that's about. And then for this big finale, we have a really tragic death. So what we try to do is how do these events inform the tone of season 23? So we're gonna kick off season 23 with style. So the season finale had to be really, really twisted and high pace but it's just fun. At the end of the day, we're really trying to make sure that we're as entertaining as possible and keeping everyone just kind of guessing as we do best.
How has the character of Nick Torres evolved and developed over the years?
The biggest factor for Torres and me specifically, Wilmer playing him, was how do we kind of slow burn who he really is to the audience, have the character know more than the audience, and slowly let out a little bit of those things that you discover. When you're in a show that does 20 episodes a season and that goes for this long, you kind of want to slow burn it a little bit while still keeping all the colors there. So I kind of created a character that had all these layers. We gave him some tragedies, we gave him some past, we gave him some haunting past, and seeing that bleed through a little bit, it's kind of how we keep him fresh. And now as we go into our ninth year with this character, we're gonna reveal just a little bit more, and also we're gonna explore, like who is he when he starts finding stability? Like, can he find love? All these things that you've never seen him really explore in the last couple of years. I think that's something we're gonna see. But yeah, I try to kind of keep him as fresh as possible for me, because again, if when I created Torres, I felt like, if I'm gonna hang out with somebody for 12 hours a day and for 8 days, which takes 8 days to shoot one episode and 20 episodes a season for almost 10 months, you want to keep him fresh. You want to like the guy you're hanging with for that long. So I really love Torres. I love the character and I love what we can do with him. And it's been a joy to play him.
Really? And I know that as an actor, you really champion versatility, and this role is definitely a departure from some of your the earlier roles that you've played, like in comedy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I guess my question is, what was the most challenging part of transitioning into this role?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a lot of things that come with it, right? So as you have referenced, I started with such a defining character, right? When I started on the sitcom That 70s Show and played Fez, it was almost impossible to imagine that person was not real. Like, you just felt like this dude was real, this Fez character was real. So very halfway through the season's history, we did 8 years on that. On the fourth and fifth year, I decided like I needed to start looking like the person, like the characters that I wanted to play. So I started working out, and it started that way, and then I started doing a lot of independent films just to kind of show the industry that all the different characters that I could play. And slowly the industry said, oh, okay, so he can play more than that, right? And I started getting a lot of opportunities. And I got a call and I got the offer to play a tourist on NCIS many years later. I had already kind of built a trajectory that I was playing characters far removed from who I was. So when I went to create this character, I prototyped them after some of my character traits, but really just created a brand new person that you thought, okay, I've known a guy this grumpy, I know the guy this dark, but I also like a guy that's this humorous. So we added different things to this character. So I think in my trajectory, what I've tried to do is I try to create characters that are so far removed from who I am that it takes audiences a journey to discover who these characters are, and therefore it kind of gives me the runway to survive in the shows in a very dynamic way.
So when I found out that I was interviewing you, I immediately bought your memoir, and I
Oh,
read it cover to
cool.
cover. I just loved it so much. I really recommend this to anybody who sees this. It's just very touching, very moving, and I wanted to ask you a few questions based on what I read here, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I've learned a lot about you. I know that you came from very humble beginnings in
Mhm.
Miami and Venezuela, and you worked relentlessly to break into the show business, not only for
Yeah.
your own success, but also to provide a more prosperous future for your family. And all of
Mhm.
these years later, you've become just like such a recognized face in Hollywood, um, appearing in shows and movies spanning genres. But in addition to this, you've also traveled the world as a USO global ambassador, supporting
Mhm.
active military service members and vets. You've met with multiple sitting presidents, advocated for immigration reform. You even
Yeah.
co-founded an organization that supports underrepresented communities. So I wanted to ask, with all of the success that you've had as an actor, how does it add more depth and meaning to your life to be part of all of these other causes outside of show business?
Absolutely. Thank you. First of all, incredibly humbled that you would get my book and that you would take the time to read it. So I really appreciate that. I'm not only impressed, but very humbled that you had done that work. And I would say that when I came to this country, I had all these possible dreams, and the most audacious of dreams became true. And this country gave me, so much. It gave me the opportunity to dream in a delusional way, and somehow give me a path to make it a reality. That's one of the biggest, driving forces for me, and I think that with this gift also comes a responsibility to give it back, right? Like you don't, the philosophy of receiving blessings is that you have to also release them back into the world again so you can continue to receive blessings, right? When you hold the blessings, at some point you cannot carry anymore and you block the ability for it to flow through you again, right? So the idea is that you experience a blessing, you learn from what you've received, and then you hopefully just kind of release it back into the world so the blessing does what it's supposed to do. And I think that was the philosophy for me, with such opportunity and such a platform. I feel I needed to take the responsibility, and I feel very responsible for a lot of the communities that I related to. I feel very responsible for the things that were not being discussed. And most importantly, creating perspective, a unified perspective that can reach us both aisles, in a nonpartisan way, to try to figure out how can we all find the commonality of all of us as people, find the unity of our views, and kind of drive towards the things that we all actually want together. And that's one of the reasons that I wrote that book. I've learned so much from traveling around the world and meeting the troops and hearing hundreds and hundreds of their stories, that it really made me feel, man, we all want the same thing. And the only thing that's different about us is how we look. And I just wanted to bring us back to the center together. And I think this was an important moment for me to say, how can I repay back what this country and what all of my fans and all of the audiences that are growing up watching me have given me and my family the opportunity to dream this loud. So I just felt like, it was important to give it back. And I've just been very privileged to have had the runway to amplify the stories of so many of the people that dream like me, and that perhaps also aspire to be sustainable and give their families a better future. So I just saw myself in those stories, and I think that's what also drove me and gave me fire to continue to amplify.
Wilmer, thank you so much for your time. This has been an incredible opportunity speaking with you, and I look forward to continuing to follow your career. And if you're ever in Boston, come visit us at WBZ.
Thank you so much, and I am humbled by your interview, and also incredibly impressed by how prepared and professional you were. And I look forward to our next interview. And
Thank you so much.
I definitely mean that.
Thank you. Take care.
All right, Lianne.
Bye.